Hi guys, Debbie here from Simply Special Crafts, here to wish you a very special Thanksgiving Day. I know on Thanksgiving the thing that we're perhaps one of our most thankful things is that we are thankful for our customers and those that make it possible for us to do what we do. So this is a little video. Some of you said that you were going to miss us today because we wouldn't be having class. So today I'm going to put up a video for you on the Magic of Christmas Deco Large Collection. This is one that I had promised you and I finally finished it. So let's put that out there so we can take a look. A Magical Christmas is a Deco Large Collection. That means that each topper set in this collection will have 3 pieces. Each topper set will have a base sheet. Now normally in an individual kit the base sheet is 1/2. So this is from a luxury set, so it has 2, but in a typical topper set for Deco Large you're going to get 2.5 sheets. You get this as a half sheet, then you get a sheet of layering pieces, and you get a piece of foiled cards, actually not foiled, a piece of coordinating cardstock to go with it. So this one happens to be called No Peeking. This is the first set we'll take a look at today. You have this wonderful little boy creeping on the stairs to see if he can take a look at what's happening on Christmas Eve. Here's the cards we made from that. Now, Hunkydory says this will make one set. As those of you who have watched our videos know, we like to see if we can get more than one, where Hunkydory says there are 1. And from this particular set, I made 2 cards. Often I make 3. I chose to make 2 with this because the pieces were very large, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough layers on each set. But here's the one that's made on the layering sheet. And this has lots of layers, as you can see. I have foam squared these with Hunkydory 2x2x5 foam squares. And this one is made on the coordinating cardstock. And as you can see, it still has plenty of layers. We have 3 and 4 layers on things on our second copy. And I think these turned out really, really cute. So this was No Peeking. Next up, I love this one. This is so cute. We have one called a Festive Sing-Along. Once again, an individual set will have 1 of these 2 base sheets. I'm not going to say that every time, but I just want to make sure you understand that this sheet is actually a half sheet in the individual topper sets. Here's our layering pieces. And here's our coordinating cardstock. It's so cute. The little expressions on their faces are just...
You get 2 pieces of cardstock?
No, this is from a... What's
the second page?
It's the same sheet. It's from a luxury set. So...
Okay.
In an individual set, you'll get 1 each of the cardstocks. In the luxury set, you get 2 of everything. So that's why I have extra pieces in my hand. I didn't take time to sort them all out. Okay. Here's our 3 cards from that set. Now, because we're making so many more cards than they anticipate, on some pieces, you'll have to bring in your own cardstock, and as you know, we have, in all cases, brought in our own cards and envelopes. The only other thing that I've added to these is a few may have embellishment bows. I think one has pearls. I brought in my own adhesives, and in several cases, I brought in mirror board. So those are the things I've added to the kits. Here's our first one. This one is done on a piece of cardstock left over from another set. You can bring in your own solid cardstock. You can bring in pieces from other sets, from other adorable scoreable that you have. But just to get enough backing papers where we're going to make lots of sets, sometimes you'll need an extra. With this one, I used a 5x7 card. I covered that in gold mirror board. And then I punched out, layered my pieces. This one's actually on the base set. I used a little border right off my border sheet that was under the, or with the with the base sheet. Used my border from here. And you can see that it has plenty of layers. So that's one. Here's one that I made that, let's see, this one's on the actual adorable scoreable. So this is the corner of my cardstock cut off and layered up with some of the pieces off my layering sheet. And it's got lots of dimension, really cute. I'm getting a lot of glare off of, I'm not sure which camera it is. One of the lights. I'm getting quite a lot of glare. So let's see. That's a little darker, but that's okay. I'd actually rather have it a little darker. Maybe you can turn this one from the side a little bit on this side, please. It's face on, so
Turn it away from you.
Huh?
Turn it this way.
Yeah, that seems to be helping some. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Okay. And this one is created on a leftover piece on this sheet of cardstock over here, and I've just brought the layering pieces themselves over, and then I added the bow. So we got 3 cards from that one. Here's the Nativity Set. And this one is called A Child is Born. We have the base layer. We have the layering pieces. And we have the cardstock. This one's on a 5x7 card. I've covered my 5x7 with gold mirror board. And I brought in my base layer. I used a border right off of my base sheet. And I used some little mini pearls in the corner. Mini pearls. No tag on the hat.
Oh no, better look. There's tags on the floor.
Okay. Here is the piece that's from the cardstock. And I just layered up pieces on top of there. This is on a European A6 card. And I added my little Christmas blessings tag on the border there. And this one is off of another piece, off that piece of cardstock. And I have just taken the extra pieces, layered them on that cardstock, added the tag across the top, made the miracle of Christmas fill your heart with love. And I think these cards are beautiful. They turned out really nice. You'd never guess we were using extra pieces on some of these. So, 3 cards from that set. Next up, maybe you can come and push some of these down if you would, so I'm not going off camera for too long. Here's our layering pieces. This one's called A Winter Walk, Deco Large, little girl with the ducks. Here's our base sheet. And here's our cardstock with the ducks on one side, little girl on the other. You know what I do when that happens. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make a gatefold card out of that. So I brought the 2 borders together on either side in a gatefold card. The inserts are sold separately for this set. We have plenty of inserts available at this point.
Yes. Lots.
And I used my little winter wishes to go over. This is a little snowflake I had left over from one of my other kits. It's from Find It Trading, the mirrored snowflakes from the snowman kit. I like this one. I think this is cute. Now on this one, the little girl image in the corner was set quite a ways over, so it was already slanted a bit towards the left, towards the right. So I wanted to balance out the left, so I used a border off my border sheet and brought a little angled border down to just kind of put some of the weight back to the left side. Added a bright topper here, and I think that turned out really, really cute.
Did almost look like a rocker card the way that the
This
topper
would be
is shaped.
When I was making these cards, the Hunkydory rockers hadn't come in yet, but some of these walking cards and things would be really, really cute with a rocker card. Any of these ones that have a circular bottom would be awesome. Okay, and this one, I used one of our dome cards. This looks like it wants to be a shaker card, and you could try that. The one caution I have about putting shaker elements in here is you do have 3D buildup on this card, and because you do have the 3D buildup, it's possible that your elements could get hung up in the images. If that's not a concern to you, go give it a try. But this is one of the dome cards. We sell these dome cards from Hunkydory in the store. It actually goes through. There's an aperture cut in the outside. I covered my card, and in this case what I used as my card cover was my insert sheet. It's a very subtle pattern. In fact, it probably doesn't show much on camera, but it's a very subtle pattern. And I covered my card with that. And then I came in from the back and I cut out my aperture again so I was cutting away the insert paper that was over the hole. And then I glued my dome in place from the inside. And I took a piece of 6x6 cardstock then and after I put my image in, I took a piece of 6x6 cardstock and covered my working side, so you don't have any messiness on the inside of your card. And then I used one of my Easy Peelies inside, since I'd already used the insert sheet for my card cover. I used the border and the tag off of my base sheet, and again I used some of those little leftover snowflakes from the snowman card to just finish that off with some little snowflakes on it. But I think that's really, really sweet. 3 cards from that set.
Somebody wants to say Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, look who's here to say Happy Thanksgiving. Can you sit? Say hi, guys. He said, what am I doing here, Mom? Say hi, guys. Teddy, snap your fingers over there, honey, so he looks at you. What are you doing, Teddy? What are you doing, Teddy? Oh, he said I gotta get over there. Yes, oh, Mama needed her nose washed. Yes, I did. Oh, Thanksgiving kisses. There he is. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Bye. Okay, Teddy made his appearance for the day, his little cameo. I have a wet nose. Okay. All right, let's see. Stack these back up. All right, next up, we have one called Snow Days, Deco Large. We don't have an awful lot of these kits left in the store, but I know that a lot of you got this kit. So if you still have it and you haven't finished it yet, here's some design ideas for you. Snow Days Deco Large. I love this one. We got the 3 little kids trying to push the giant snowball. I can hardly wait to see what happens when they try to lift the next layer onto that great big base. Here's our base sheet. And here's our corner cardstock. This one goes together really nicely. Now you'll notice I have not put a large amount of embellishment, not a lot of specialty cards and things to these, because these Deco large cards kind of take care of themselves, guys. So when you need to put a bunch of cards together in a relatively short period of time, Deco large is actually a good solution to that, because this kit, half of this kit, I just made 1 topper set of each of the 12 toppers. One set made 34 cards in total, and they don't take a lot of time to finish because they don't require a lot of embellishment. So this is actually a good way to finish a large number of cards in a short period of time. So here's our first one. You can see that has a lot of layers on it, but all of these do. This one has more layers of the children themselves, pieces, arms, hats, a little dog in front. But it's very simple designs. Again, in this one, because this is using the cardstock off the corner, and because the image is more to the left, on the right-hand side of this card, it might be the left as you're looking. No, it'll be, anyway. Yeah, as I'm looking at it, the image is to the left, and I ran this border up and put this greeting topper across it to give some weight to the other side of my European A6 card. It just kind of levels things out.
It really does.
Here's the base sheet. This is a 5x7 card, and a very simple design. I've used a background piece of card. I've put my base sheet together. I actually put the base sheet itself up on some foam squares, and I used my little tag down here. And this one's cute. The greeting says, "Sending Christmas wishes. We hope you have a ball." And then again, I'm just using up some of the stickers I had on my workstation here. These are the silver mirror stickers that we used in the snowman kit. And I just had a few of those left, so I thought, why not just finish off that sheet while I had it here. A little border, and that one was set to go. So you can see there's just not a lot of embellishment here. They really don't need it. Next up, speaking of snowmen, this little girl's finished hers, and she's giving him a big kiss. So this is called Christmas Kisses. This is our base layer. Once again, you'll get 1 in your set if you're buying the individual sets. Here's our layering pieces. A generous number of layers in this for the size of the images. Here's our little girl on the corner. Here's our base layer finished. On this one, I used a 5x7 card. This kind of had these creamy colors in it, and I thought it would be pretty to actually use a cream background on this card. So I covered my card in gold mirror board. Then I covered it, I put another sheet in of a slightly smaller sheet of this cream pearl paper. And I put my topper set in the middle, and then this had corners that went with this oval. So I set my corners in just a little bit on the cream, and I think that looked pretty. Now this border down this side, just you, me, and 2,500 of our friends will know that this border is here because I got my my mirror board just a little bit off on this side, and I didn't want that to show. My background card was showing just a little bit, so I put that border down the side, which I think looks splendid there, and nobody would know if we weren't telling them. Okay, next up, here's our little corner piece, and on this one, once again, she and the snowman are really close in the corner, so I tried to kind of draw that out a little bit, the width of that out a little bit by using a wider banner at the top to just kind of fill that space and make it intentional. This one actually probably could benefit from a few extra snowflakes here had I put them on. So if I were making recommendations to you, I might put just a few snowflakes here. Maybe come down just a little extra with the snowflakes. And this one, I think this one's really cute. Now this one is done on I actually believe, is that the same? I'm not sure if that's, yeah, it's a European A6. I thought for a minute it was an A2, but it's not. It's a European A6. And I put a piece of that cream ivory color cardstock, but before I put it down to my card, I wrapped it with a piece of my red and white iridescent ribbon in the 1-inch size, just to bring a little color to the top of my card. And then I put my greeting, "All I Want for Christmas Is You," on top of that ribbon to add a little bit of extra color to the top of my card. And you can see these all have just ample layers on them. It would be one really thick card if we were putting all the layers on one, but you can easily get 2 or 3 cards. Mostly 3 I got. I think there's only 2 sets I did 2s, and each time I had a reason for that. The no peeking, the banister pieces were really necessary for that one, and I had the banister on the base sheet and I had the banister on the background sheet, so I used those 2 where you're sneaking down the stairs. And then there's one other here that I'll show you that I only made 2 out of, and I don't remember why that was. We'll look at it when we get there. But really, really cute. And I think that ribbon adds a lot to that one, and that's just, what a simple thing to do. Wrap the ribbon around and...
It really offsets the card. Gives it a whole new look.
Okay. Really simple. If there's embellishments at all, they're super simple ones. Okay. This one is called... what? This one's called Home for Christmas. The kids out in the yard with the snowman, the tree in the background. Really cute. This has a bajillion little pieces. Look at all those pieces. I probably could have gotten 4 cards out of this one if I had been inclined to try. And there's our cardstock. Let's see what we get here. Here is our corner piece. And on this one, I used just the basic cardstock. Then I cut this border across the top and I brought it down. And then I put my greeting on the border because I thought it really needed something at the top besides just leaving it open all the way to the top. And I thought that border looked really nice there. So that is this border, just cut and brought down a little bit. So you can see I used this and then I brought this border down and actually narrowed that out just a little. Super simple, a few little snowflakes on there. The other thing these cards could benefit from, and I did not take the time to do it yet, I probably will before I send them out, is they really could use some glitter touches, either some stickles or some glitter. This is made from the other side of the cardstock, from over here. And these are my extra layering pieces I just brought in over here. Now, when I say I could have gotten 4 out of this easily, there really are quite a lot of layering pieces on these 2 and this one. And I did have enough of those snowman pieces that I really easily could have gotten another card from right here if I'd been inclined to do it. Okay? See what I mean? So you can easily get a 3rd card out of this piece of cardstock with the European A6s. I didn't do anything fancy to that one. I just put my image here and I put my greeting on some foam squares. On this one, I took just a blue piece of cardstock. I covered my 5x7 card in Silver Mary, because some of these are gold and some are silver. So I covered it in some Silver Mary, and I just put my large image and a full-size greeting. That's all it needed, because it's got lots of fanciness already. And especially once I get the glitter on these, they'll be really, really pretty. Toy store counter. This one's called Toys Aplenty. This is the base layer. Here's my layering pieces. Here's my counter. I like the fact that they did this because I was able to use that to reinforce that this was a toy store counter. I'll show you that momentarily. So let's see. First, I used this one. Here's my corner of my cardstock. And it looked really white at the top here. And I thought, well, the ceiling's not much to write home about. So what I did is I cut my border off here, I brought it down, and then I had a little gap between here and the top of my card. I filled that in with one of my borders. And now it looks like the toys just go right on up the wall.
Yeah, you'd never know.
Isn't that cute? Okay, next. This one. This one, I did the same thing, only from the other side of the cardstock. Let's see. What do I do? Yeah. Yeah, I did the same thing from the other side of the cardstock. I'm trying to decide where I got that other cardstock layer. I hope I didn't keep an extra layer out of this half kit. I might have. And this was what I did with the base layer. I could have just turned it sideways on here and done what I've done with the other cards. Put the big base layer and then the greeting above or below it. But because I had that counter, I thought it was kind of cute to run the counter across. And then I ran my border. I had a piece of border here that had this swag that you see through the window into the toy shop in the other set. And I hung the swag across the top and ran the counter across and put my base layer in the middle. Then I put my greeting right on top of the base layer. So 3 cards from that one. More kids playing outside. And this one that's called Winter Sparkle. And they've got their Christmas tree sparkling with decor. Now, you know my feeling about this. Where there's a Christmas tree on a card, it should be decorated. I have not yet put the dazzles on here, but I think everywhere I see the little Christmas balls, there will be a red dazzle. And where I see the white ornaments, there most likely will be a silver dazzle on those. Here's my card stock layer. Here's my layering pieces. There's lots of pieces to this one too. Okay, here's my base layer. Now this one had this interesting soft lavender color, and you know me and purples, anything in the purple family, I had to run with that. So I covered my card with cream colored cardstock because it also had this creamy color in the back. Then I covered my card with mirror board, and finally I covered my card with a piece of lavender cardstock, and I built up from there. So this has lots of layers. Here's my base layer, and then I set my corners out just a little bit from those. You'll notice there's no greeting or anything because I thought it was perfect just like it was. Here's one that is done on my base layer, on my cardstock layer. I'm just taking the corner as they've given it to me. Okay, put it on a European A6 card. Now once again, it's set pretty close to the margin, and so I would have extra here. And I had two choices. I could either cut that off, or I could just put a border strip there to kind of counterbalance the image just a little bit. And that's what I chose to do. And that way I could use this nice long greeting on it, because I had several of these nice long greetings, and I like to use them where I could. This one says, may your Christmas be full of festive fun. And the final one for this one, to make this one, I took the frame piece. Don't get confused here because I'm going to explain what I did. I took the frame from this one and I created this background piece, the far background piece, out of a piece of my cardstock. So I just traced inside it and then I cut that out. And then I layered all my pieces on there. So what you can see there is that I have the full shape. It doesn't have the foiling around it, but I have the full shape of the base piece here. And then I've built my images up on top of there. It was just an extra little bit of fanciness, and it took me just a minute to trace that. Once I punched this out, then I just used the frame of this as my template to cut this one out. Okay? So we have 3 from that set. They're cute, adorable. And my stack is getting really high here. I think I might have to start putting them back on the other table or they're going to avalanche on me.
Yep.
36 cards and lots of paper will do that. Okay, this one is called Christmas Eve. Here's my base layer. I love this one. I see Santa going across the moon. There's my layering pieces. Here's my cardstock piece. Once again, I have 2 in mind just because it was a luxury set. You'll have 1 of each in yours if you get the individual sets. And here's my first one. This is cut from here, over here. So I've covered my A6 card and layered up my pieces on that background. And this one says, you're never too old to search the stars. It's light out here, isn't really good. Oh, you're never too old to search the starry sky on Christmas Eve. Sorry, sometimes the reflections here in the shop when we have the camera lights on make it a little bit difficult to read, but really cute. Next up, this one, I took the image from this corner. You gotta see this puppy loving that's going on across the table from me here. Teddy's having a nap on the table. Bryce is resting his head on Teddy, and Teddy's just eating it up. So and once again, this is fairly close to the edge, so I used my border to kind of counterbalance that. And then I had this wonderful, charming scene up here, and I did not want to fussy cut that sleigh and reindeer. So I just cut a box out around it, trimmed it out with some mirror board and brought it down. And I think that looks really cute. And finally, here's my base layer. I've taken a 5x7 card. I've just used a piece of bright blue cardstock. I've covered my card in silver mirror board. Made my, my blue cardstock just a little bit smaller. I brought my base image in and laid it down, brought my corners in, and just used a little piece of border on the bottom. I thought I had it just open here, and I thought it just needed something at the bottom, so I kind of rested my image right on the bottom of it, on my border piece. I think I gotta go out this way now. Lots of cards. Lots and lots of cards. Okay, here we have a visit from Santa, and this one's called Story Time with Santa. Here's my layering pieces. Here's my base layer. And here's my cardstock. And here's the cards that we made. Let's start with this one. This is the corner off my cardstock. And you can see that once again, I have cut the corner off my cardstock and covered my A6 card. Then I cut my border piece and brought it down to be right behind Santa's head. I think that looks really good. Next up, this time I layered my pieces up here, and I didn't have to do that because it just finished itself off. So I just simply put in my images, and this one says from Santa on this tag. And this one, I used a piece of this from up here, I guess. I used a piece of my background paper, but I didn't have one wide enough to do the whole thing. Like this one, did I? Yeah, okay. I didn't have one wide enough to do the whole thing, so I put a piece of blue down here since I had the blue in the sky behind Santa, and I thought that would look good. And then I used just a piece of my cardstock here, and I used this candy cane border off of my base sheet to separate the two colors. Once again, a few of those mirrored snowflakes just because I had them sitting here. But I think that turned out really cute, and that's made with scrap pieces for the background.
That turned out good.
Okay, number 12. Here comes number 12. This is the other one that I did 2 instead of 3 from, and I'll show you why I chose to do that. Here's my base layer, and here's my store window on my cardstock. And then this store window, I didn't have a store window, but remember I have this one, and this one in my set. I didn't have a store window that had all the pieces in it. Had these pieces been complete, I could have gotten 3 cards. But because these were the punch outs, and they didn't have toy store imagery inside, I chose to just make 2 cards out of this instead. But I will say these cards are extra, extra tall because of that. Wait till you see the layers on these. Here's the first one. And on this one, I've used gold mirror board. Over my 5x7, I used a bright blue piece of cardstock because I thought it could stand to be brightened up a little bit. I put a border down the edge of it just for fun. And look at the layers in this piece. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Lots of layers there. And the same here. Look at the layers in this one. Oops. See if I can get it where I can show you the layers. There we go. Look at all those layers. That's a lot of layers, guys. And here's my European A6 card. Cut right out of the corner and layered onto my card. They're adorable. So as I said, we have 34 toppers from 12 of the topper sets, and that means that if you're working on a luxury card set with 2 of each, you should conceivably be able to get 68 cards with the full Deco large kit. I don't have a lot of these left at this point, but again, I did this for you anyway, just kind of as a gift, because I know that a lot of you bought this set, and I thought you might appreciate having just this little thing for Thanksgiving as a little extra for you. I saw Margie today, and Margie was thinking the same thing. Hers isn't quite done yet, but as an extra kind of added bonus for you guys, Margie is working on the gnome set out of our issue 12. And on next Thursday's video, we're going to have, not tomorrow, but next Thursday's video, we will have a Margie's Makes showing you her gnome cards, and they are absolutely spectacular. So keep a watch out for those. I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, wishing you a very, very special Thanksgiving, and we will see you at the party on Saturday. Do not miss the party on Saturday. It's going to be great fun. We have a link on our YouTube homepage. It starts at 2 o'clock Pacific time. Be sure and be here for a really good time. We'll see you on Saturday.